While the NFL is packed with controversial athletes, one player was such a menace that he got banned from the NFL on multiple occasions. Let us introduce you to the biggest douchebag in NFL history, Richie Incognito. Richie didn't have an easy childhood. Incognito's parents divorced when he was young, and he struggled with anger and emotional issues as a kid. He was bullied for being overweight regularly. His father, Richie Incognito Sr., used to tell him not to let anyone talk smack to him. He told him that payback is going to come, Richie. When it's time for you to have your payback, you open up the gates of hell and make them stare at the devil. Incognito clearly took the advice to heart. In high school, Incognito got suspended for breaking another student's nose in his freshman year. He went on to play football at Mountain Ridge High School and was a star player, earning validation for his extreme aggression and physicality. After high school, Incognito committed to the University of Nebraska. He quickly became known for being a supremely talented hothead. In 2002, Incognito became the first Husker freshman offensive lineman to start in the season opener and only the third freshman lineman to earn any start in his first year of competition. But he didn't just start. Richie played in all 14 games that season, starting 13 of them at left tackle, and had 171 pancake blocks, which is the second highest total in Husker history. His performance earned him a spot as a first-team freshman All-American. But along with this play came some off-the-field drama. The offensive lineman was bullying his teammate Jack Limbaugh, a player with a passive personality. He was accused of spitting in an opponent's face during a game against Troy State, and then was ejected for fighting in a game against Penn State. In his sophomore season, he was suspended for getting into another fight and spit in the face of another player, this time from the University of Michigan. Eventually, his team suspended him and sent him to an anger management program before he was allowed to rejoin the team. Then, in 2004, Incognito got in a fight at a party and was charged with 3 counts of assault. Later that same year, he was found guilty on 1 misdemeanor assault charge. But still, Incognito entered the 2004 college football season with high expectations. He was listed on several preseason lists as a top center and named to the watch list for the Remington Trophy, which goes to the best center in the entire nation. But because of his poor behavior, he didn't get the chance to prove his talents as a Cornhusker that year. On September 1st, he was suspended indefinitely for repeated violations of team rules. The final straw for Coach Bill Callahan came when Incognito was involved in another fight in the locker room. Following this incident, Incognito withdrew from all his classes at the University of Nebraska and left the school. He planned to transfer to the University of Oregon, but he broke team policy multiple times and was cut by the team before the season started. Incognito was forced to sit out for his entire draft-eligible season, but was still invited to showcase his abilities at the draft combine. There, he impressed scouts because he was the strongest and most explosive player in attendance. But his showcase ended early when he sprained his knee. As the draft neared, Incognito was a polarizing prospect. He had some superior tools, but was also extremely volatile. Scott Pioli, who was the player personnel director of the New England Patriots at the time, said that he didn't even consider drafting Incognito. Indianapolis Colts coach Tony Dungy said that Incognito was on the Colts' do not draft because of character list, but with talents like Incognito, it was certain that one team would take a risk on him. And that team was the St. Louis Rams, who drafted Incognito in the 3rd round of the draft with the 81st overall pick. The young lineman was placed on the non-football injury list for his entire rookie season. Then in 2006, he quickly earned a full-time role as a starting offensive lineman for the Rams. But his reputation as a dirty player persisted. He was accused of gouging players' eyes, punching players, and making illegal tackles on plenty of occasions in his first few seasons. In 2008, Incognito got fined 3 times in 1 game for illegal hits and for verbally assaulting a referee against the Redskins. In 2009, Richie was voted the dirtiest player in the league by NFL players, according to a poll conducted by Sporting News. During that season, Incognito played in 9 games and started them all. But during a game against the Titans, Incognito lost his cool and headbutted multiple opponents. His head coach was unimpressed and benched Incognito, leading to a heated argument on the sidelines. It was the second time that season that Incognito had been pulled from a game for misconduct on the field. Following the Titans game, the Rams decided to go their separate ways and cut Incognito from the team. Billy Devaney, who at the time was the Rams general manager, claimed that he had many conversations with Incognito about controlling his emotions and getting his behavior in check before they came to the conclusion to cut him loose. The Bills picked him up for the remainder of the season, but did not re-sign him to play for the team the following year. Incognito's behavior was no longer being overlooked. If he didn't make changes, teams were no longer going to give him opportunities. So Incognito sought out medical help to regulate his emotions. He was prescribed a medication called Paxil, which seemed to make a major difference for him. In 2010, the Dolphins signed him to a one-year contract. His first test came when a player named Antonio Smith swung his helmet at Incognito, and Richie was able to walk away without losing his temper. The play earned recognition, and fans began to believe that Incognito may actually be changing his ways. During the season, he started all 16 games playing both left guard and center. He was praised for his elite pass-blocking ability. His play continued to develop, but before long, his off-field conduct began to slip back into his old ways. In 2012, Incognito, along with fellow offensive linemen John Jerry and Mike Pouncey, made racial slurs towards a Japanese trainer employed by the Dolphins, and also wore traditional Japanese headbands featuring a rising sun emblem on the anniversary of the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. They reportedly joked about physically harming the assistant trainer in retaliation for the attack. But his most notable offense was yet to come. In November 2013, the Miami Dolphins suspended Richie Incognito indefinitely for misconduct. After getting suspended, he left a series of voicemails to his teammate Jonathan Martin, in which Incognito used racist language, made threats of physical violence against Martin and his family, and even uttered a death threat. Martin was impacted so greatly by the bullying that he left the team facilities and checked himself into a hospital. After being released, he blamed his teammates for causing him serious emotional trauma. The Dolphins staff responded by once again suspending Incognito, this time for an indefinite time frame. During the suspension, the team decided to carry on without him and released him from his contract. The Jonathan Martin incident got plenty of national media attention, and Richie Incognito became the poster boy for toxic locker room culture in the NFL. The NFL decided to dig deeper and do an investigation into Incognito, and he was pleased. After the reports were filed, Incognito was so angry that he smashed apart his own Ferrari with a baseball bat. The whole neighborhood was terrified, and plenty of people called the police when they saw Incognito outside smashing his car. At their arrival, Incognito decided to once again check himself into a hospital for mental health-related reasons. He sat out the entire 2014 NFL season, but after being reinstated by the league, he signed a contract with the Buffalo Bills in 2015. When he returned, he actually took his play to another level of dominance and played some of the best football of his entire career. In March 2016, Richie Incognito agreed to a 3-year contract extension with the Buffalo Bills worth $15.75 million. During the 2016 season, he played in all 16 games and was named to his 3rd Pro Bowl of his career. But when things seemed to be going well, Richie announced his retirement from the NFL due to health concerns and dissatisfaction with the Bills organization regarding a dispute around his contract. Then, in May 2018, Incognito was placed on an involuntary psychiatric hold following an altercation at a health club in Boca Raton, Florida. The report claims that he threw a tennis ball and a dumbbell at another exerciser at the gym and was showing symptoms of extreme paranoia. Then his father passed away in April, and Incognito was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct after making threats at a funeral home in Scottsdale, Arizona. Apparently, he threatened to shoot the employees and wanted his late father's head cut off for research purposes. Police seized 2 Glocks, 3 rifles, and a suppressor for a handgun from his truck. In 2019, Incognito returned to the NFL when he signed with the Raiders. He played 2 more seasons before retiring from the NFL for good in 2022. Richie Incognito's controversial career gave us insight into the harsh working environments that persist in NFL locker rooms. He also taught us how mental health issues can be so detrimental to those suffering and those around them. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel for more sports news and insights.